Hey everyone, Luke here from Bedford Camera and Video, and today we've got the brand new Canon R3. So the R3 is the new Canon Pro level mirrorless system. This is going to be positioned above the R5 and in between the 1DX3. So this camera is really designed for those sports and wildlife photographers, someone that is needing a camera system that is incredibly fast and accurate. Very similar to the 1DX3 as far as the body style, it has the built-in grip on the bottom, so it's a very robust camera system. Now, the one thing that I will mention about the overall body is the first thing you notice is the weight. It is significantly lighter than a 1DX3 or a 1DX2, but still giving you that vertical grip. Now, this camera will utilize a UHS-2 SD card or a CF Express Type B card. Now, there are a lot of features that we're going to jump into on the inside of this camera that have been updated, but we're also going to talk about all of the new features on the outside of this camera. So one of the first things that I recognized on this camera was the fact that it has such a large viewfinder. Now, physically, the size of the viewfinder has increased, but the resolution is still that 5.7 million dot viewfinder that you're going to find on the R5. Now, the big reason why they increased this size, we'll get into in just a second, but it's really cool for some autofocus features. Now, from here, I do want to talk about some of the buttons and everything that are on the outside of this camera. So on the R3, you're going to get 12 programmable buttons with 70 different options that you can choose from. From here, I want to go to the side where you have all of your ports. Now with this camera, you're going to be getting a USB-C, an HDMI, a microphone input, headphone output, as well as your flash sync and Ethernet connection. Now, from here, you do have your battery compartment. The great thing is this battery is an LPE19, but for those of you that are shooting a 1DX Mark II or a 1DX Mark III, you can still utilize those same batteries for this camera. With this system, you're going to have a lot of similar buttons that you would see on a 1DX2 or a 1DX3. For example, you're going to have a smart controller that will actually allow you to keep your thumb on the autofocus button on the back of this camera, but still move those autofocus points. You can still use the joystick to move your autofocus points as well, but this will allow you to not have to take your thumb off the autofocus button and still change your autofocus points. Now, this is going to be the first camera that Canon has come out with in their Pro lineup that has a Vari-Angle articulating screen. This is also touchscreen, so you're going to have a lot of usability and control over your environment that you're shooting in with this screen. Not only is this the first articulating screen for Canon on a Pro Series body, but it is a 4.1 million dot LCD screen, making it the highest resolution screen Canon provides. A really nice feature for those of you that are out shooting in less than ideal situations is the fact that all of these blue buttons on the back of this camera are illuminated. So at night or in low lit conditions, you can still manage to operate your camera with ease. Now, with all of those capabilities, they have not forgotten the actual build quality of this camera either. This is a pro level camera from Canon. So it's going to have the magnesium alloy bodies, the weather resistant, dust resistant aspects that you would expect. But it comes in 71% lighter than the 1DX Mark III, bringing this camera down to just over 2 pounds. Another thing that Canon introduced with the R3 is the 21-pin accessory shoe. So this will allow for more connectivity for future accessories from Canon, but it will also allow you to still utilize your existing flashes or accessories for your Canon cameras. So at the heart of the R3, Canon has given you the brand new back illuminated stacked 24.1 megapixel full frame CMOS sensor. That sensor is going to be paired with the Digic X processor and the capability of 100 to 102,000 ISO with the capability of expansion. Now, this camera has a lot of new features on the inside that we haven't seen on other Canon cameras yet, and it is really incredible, like the autofocus system. Some of the new features that you get with the R3 in that autofocus system are going to be the priority modes. You'll still see the people priority and animal priority, but Canon has introduced vehicle priority. And within the vehicle priority mode, it's designed for GT cars, rally cars, on or off-road motorcycles, and high-performance vehicles. Within vehicle priority mode, you have two autofocus options, whole or spot. With whole, it's going to select the vehicle itself to capture autofocus, whereas with spot, utilizing the quick menu feature, you can select the driver's helmet. The R3 has 5-axis in-body stabilization and has the capability of photographing 30 frames a second in electronic shutter mode. This camera is really designed for those users that need a high-performance camera. Now, speaking about the autofocus system with this R3, there are some other features in this camera that are really cool and unique. One thing is that viewfinder on the back of your camera is significantly larger than you've seen in the past. One of the main reasons is, one, to help for comfortability for those of you that wear glasses and shooting, but it's also utilized for the eye control autofocus. Now, what that means is this camera is actually monitoring your eye as to where it's looking in the frame, and it will pull your autofocus to that point so that you can then hit your autofocus button on the back of the camera and get that focus set. You can calibrate this in different shooting scenarios so that you'll make sure that this camera is as efficient and accurate as possible when utilizing that setting. When it comes to the video capabilities of the R3, Canon has not disappointed. With this camera, you can produce a 6K RAW, 60 frames a second, 12-bit video file internally. So you can still continue to utilize this camera regardless if you're shooting photos or video. When it comes to the 4K shooting capabilities of the R3, you're going to get 4K, 120 frames a second, 10-bit with C-Log 3. Regardless of what recording settings you have selected, there are no time limits to the amount that you can record. For those of you that like to use autofocus in video mode, don't worry, every aspect of the autofocus capability of the R3 from the photo side carries over to the video side. So you're still going to have those object tracking, subject tracking capabilities, even in the video settings. The EVF has a 120p refresh rate, and it is a blackout-free viewfinder, meaning that you will continuously view your subject as you're shooting, even if you are shooting the 30 frames a second. So there you have it, that's the new Canon R3. This camera comes in just under $6,000 at $59.99. If you want to pre-order yours, go ahead and visit us online at bedfords.com or visit your local store. I'm Luke from Bedford Camera and Video, and we'll catch you next time.